Thank you very much, Program Director, all colleagues, because you know I'm still a journalist, so you are all my colleagues. You know, life is very interesting, but I want to repeat what I have been saying many times. In South Africa, you have only one Hlaudi, no one else. It's only one Hlaudi. I want to say to you today, people who organize the press conference is friends of Hlaudi, because everywhere where I go, people are asking me about all these allegations or rumors that people are spreading around South Africa, around the continent, around the world. Because even around the world, you know, they talk about Hlaudi, they write about Hlaudi. Some of them, they don't know even Hlaudi, how he looks like. But it is very important to deal with reality in South Africa. What you see in me is what you get. I'm not apologetic about the decisions that we have been taking at the SABC. That is what we need to do. And I want to say to you that I'm not representing SABC, because you are aware that the court has ruled that I should sit at home until my disciplinary hearing. The second one. I walk the first one. I'm still gonna walk the second one, because there is nothing wrong that I have done. Actually, I'm very excited, and I'm going to enjoy myself in disciplinary hearing. You see, some people, when they are taken to disciplinary hearing, they think it's the end of the world. For me, it's the beginning of the world. For me, it's the beginning of Hlaudi. So there's no problem about a disciplinary hearing. They can have that disciplinary hearing. And I'm very excited who's going to come and what people are going to say, what they know, because I'm going to be there to respond on all those allegations. And also, I have a very good team. You know, the team is led by Zola Majavu. And I want to say to you, when it comes to issues that you as journalists you have been asking me, I'm reviewing the public protector report. The answer is no, big no, I'm not. I'm not part of that review, because the remedial action, it doesn't deal with Hlaudi. It is an SABC matter. So I'm not going to review the remedial action of the public protector. But I'm going to deal with the issues in that disciplinary hearing. And I'm waiting for the disciplinary hearing. I have seen here where people have been saying local content problems, about local content, the audience are going down. I want to know how much. And who did the research to who? Because you see, in broadcasting environment, every time you have audience going up and down. I have checked the research where they are saying because of local content, SABC did not do well. And when I check it, it's 1%, 2%. How can you cry about 2%, 1%? But the issue is not about 90%. The issue, it may be because of the format that SABC is using, the quality of music that they are putting on air. So it can't be because of 90% local content. That notion is misleading. But I want to say to you, in South Africa, we have people with amazing talent. We have people who are better than those musicians outside this country. Yes. And we must promote our own musicians. When you read the Broadcasting Act, I'm not going to lecture you here, but you need to go and read. The role of SABC is to promote local content. Is to promote production houses in South Africa. So you can't have the bold and the beautiful outside this country when you have writers in this country, we have creative people who can write their own stories and talk about their own culture and tradition in South Africa. So when we came with this 90%, we were informed by the needs of people. And I also hear people are saying, no, SABC just implement. Many people we engage many people. Mzwakhe Mbuli fought, Don Laga fought, Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and many others, including Mteto. Many of them, not this one, another one. Call Eugene Mteto. Us as South Africans, you know, when I hear this noise, I'm asking myself,
we do apologize,
we've
lost that sound again.
It's because this noise, they want to make sure that black South Africans are not empowered. Black South Africans, they don't run economy. That is where the noise is. There's nothing wrong about white people because they have done their part. They are still doing their own part. But what is more important that I need to deal with, you know, we are all South Africans, black and white. We are all South Africans. All white people, black people should support each other and make sure that we grow our industry, which is this. And make sure that we grow our industry, which is this production houses, including musicians in South Africa. And it seems as the benefit is for black. 90% is not for black, it's for white also. Because SABC is playing their own music on that platform. And when you check at the SABC, I have been from the onset when I was acting in 2011. I call all this collecting society to say, tell me, where is this money going to? Yeah. When these artists are dying poorly. Exactly. I called them. Exactly. There was a big meeting where I called them. I also hear some of them, they were buying buildings, generating revenue. I said, it is wrong. SABC should account. We should know that when you claim this money, you invoice SABC. We know that you have paid relevant people. Yeah. That is what we need to do. Because SABC is paying. I want to say to South Africans, don't listen to black people who are being taken by the Western. Yes. Don't listen to them. Because black people, most of them, some of them, they have been captured. You can see what they are fighting for. I will never be proud where a black man stand and say, look, we are not supporting local content. We are not supporting President Zuma when he is saying radical transformation in South Africa. You have people toy-toying. What for? And people who are toy-toying, they are minor. You see, people are saying they are many. Those people are not many. They are not representing 50 million people of South Africa. Ordinary people. They know what they want in South Africa. Exactly. And some of us who come from poverty, who know poverty, not from reading the books, who grow within poverty, we know when we occupy these positions, we need to plow back to our own people who are poor in South Africa. And when we talk about this local content, what is this local content? We don't deal with musicians. And you know why musicians is all halabaloo about musicians? Because they are more famous. We are not dealing with musicians. When we talk about local content, we deal with emerging business people in different provinces. At the SABC, I championed that. I said, all these emerging business people in different provinces, they should be able to do business with SABC in those provinces. Head office can't run. Head office can't run business where we are sitting here we are running provinces by remote. We have empowered those people to say, do business with local people because we want to invest in local people. That is what we are saying. It is not just music that we are talking about. When we talk about production houses, you are aware that all these production houses in the past, they were having 1-year contract with SABC, which is not sustainable. They were losing talent to other opposition. When some of us, we came, we said, no, stop this. These artists, these actors are workers. They are not just entertaining South Africans. We need to pay them accordingly. And let me tell you, what we mean by local content, we mean by making sure that we create employment in South Africa. Because now, when we introduce this 90%, people are starting to go back to studios to record quality music. They are starting to employ other people. So there is nothing wrong about local content. Actually, all South Africans, we should support local content. I think the Minister of Arts and Culture, including communication, they need to regulate all media spheres so that all these other broadcasters, they are regulated, they also play 90% in their platform. It should not be SABC only. Even the commercial broadcasters, they should be regulated. They should play 90%. And I'm asking the question, when people are saying that, you know what they are saying? Very interesting. People are withdrawing money because of local content. And I'm asking myself, if you are South African or you come from outside the country, why you would withdraw money for people who actually are benefiting because of them?
Yes, that's a good question.
Why should you withdraw money? But let me tell you, when I was there at the SABC, I went around and talked to investors. And those advertisers, sponsorship, I took them head on. They were having problems about local content. You can't run away from that. I influenced them to support local content. And they said in that meeting, it's recorded, we are going to invest in local content. People should not be mischievous about local content. Everyone should support people who are staying here in South Africa.
Exactly.
Local content, what we want to see black and white benefiting from the revenue of all these business people in South Africa. You know, the pain in South Africa is when it comes to technology, when it comes to these factories, you don't have some of factories who are producing technology parts for broadcasters. Because even SABC, most of the parts, we get them from outside. And when you get them from outside, what you pay is dollars, it's euros. So we need to have our own factories in South Africa. When we come with these big companies from outside the country, what we need to say to them is, you go and work with these South Africans, you transfer skills and expertise to them, so that when you leave, they are able to run those factories in South Africa. We won't be affected by the dollar and the euro if we produce such tools in South Africa. That is what we need in South Africa. But also what we need in South Africa is all South Africans. We should recognize 11 languages. When you read the Broadcasting Act, it says we need to treat all languages equally so. If you don't introduce 90%, where are you going to get that equity amongst all these languages in South Africa? And let me tell you, the ad hoc committee has caused havoc.
Yes.
The question that we need to ask, why they could not ask Hlaudi?
Yes.
When from day one, everyone was saying, hey, that Hlaudi, he took decision alone. Hey, which means I'm powerful, man. Let me tell you, you see, if you can't win the debate in that environment, you should accept the majority. And I want to tell you, all people, it is true that I have been champion in this. I'm not apologetic about it. But in those discussions and at ESCO, including at board level, I won the debate. What's wrong? If I won the debate in those discussions, and the same people vote with me to support what I have been doing, what's wrong? Let me tell you about Krishnaidu. Let me tell you about Krishnaidu. Let me tell you about Krishnaidu. You see, when you are a sellout, you'll be sellout forever. He's going to sell these other board members again. Let me tell you about Krishnaidu. Krishnaidu, I don't understand. From the ad hoc committee, from Parliament, I don't understand. Because they said, no, that board is not fit. And when I read the report, there is no way they are saying, no, at least Krishnaidu is right. When you read that report, he said the whole board, it was a mess. If the whole board, it was a mess, why Krishnaidu is there? Why Krishnaidu is there? And if you look, because I have worked with Krishnaidu, you see, I'm not going to tell you about other stories about Krishnaidu. I have worked with Krishnaidu. And Krishnaidu is the one, when I get all these awards from Sadma, from Etegwini, from other ordinary people, Krishnaidu is the first to say, congratulations, Mr. Saying to the board, let us congratulate this man, he has done well. The minutes are there. But this Krishnaidu goes to Parliament and lie under oath. Lie under oath. And remember, the ad hoc committee said, all those who lied under oath, they should be investigated. Now, where is that process of investigating people who lie under oath? When a liar is in the board. You can see it was a political agenda. And how can Krishnaidu become a board member when he works at Hlaudi House? If you are saying we want a credible SABC, why do you allow someone who works for someone in Hlaudi House, who push an agenda for political reasons, and I want them in a board meeting to say, here we don't deal with politics. Here we deal with South Africans. It is on record at the SABC. I want board members, I said, you see the problem, you bring politics in this board, in the SABC. We are going to collapse the SABC. Even if it's an ANC, there is division within the ANC. He puts certain agenda in that division, Krishnaidu, but he's not trustworthy. For me, he's not supposed to be a board member. And I'm also aware that even some of the organization, they want to take him to court, I'm aware. To say, remove this man from the board. So Krishnaidu is not credible. Krishnaidu is part of all these good decisions that we have been taken. Applauding. In some cases, yes. You know, in an ESCO or in a meeting, we will always differ. But the majority will rule. So Krishnaidu is part of that. I don't understand why Krishnaidu is there in that board. You also have what we call conflict of interest. You see, you can't work for print media and serve print media, and you toy with them, you fight with SABC, but you are taken to be a board member.
There's something wrong.
And let me tell you, during the 8 journalists, there is someone there who's at the board now. He has been public, saying that no, we don't agree with SABC, and he has been at SANEF and so on. But you take the same person in a board to serve at board. What kind of credibility that we are looking at? But the worst part, you see, because we are competing with other broadcasters, including print media, we at the SABC at board, we took a resolution at that time to say no one should play double standard, work for opposition and work for SABC. Because when you do that, you are going to take strategy of SABC and give others. We were saying no, there is conflict of interest. But I want to say to journalists, go and read the Broadcasting Act. When we talk about conflict of interest, what do we mean? Because there are some people who are not supposed to be there in that board because of conflict of interest.
Yes.
Let me deal with security agency. And security agency, I'm talking about government security agency. Yes, they have been there at the SABC. I have been part. I know why they were there. One reason is, all people who are supposed to be at the SABC, they must be vetted. They must be vetted before you can work for any SOE or government. SABC has been using what you call private sector. We don't even know where they come from, who sponsor them, vetting SABC people which are part of SOEs of government. By law, it can't be right.
Yes.
People who work for those SOEs, they should be vetted by the security agency of government. So which means we have been doing wrong stuff. And when they came to us, they said, no, this is wrong. We need to vet all of you, including the board, including you, Hlaudi. That is what they said. I have that report. Because myself and other directors, including the chairperson of the board, Professor Magube, we have been working on that. They said, no, what you are doing, it is wrong. Even people who are doing business with you, they are not vetted. And I said to them, can you come and assist us so that you can vet all of us? But I was also vetted. You know, I worked for government. I was vetted by the security agency, government. Because I was dismissed at the SABC, I came back, and I enjoy these things of dismissal and coming back. I enjoy to go for disciplinary hearing. I enjoy life. I enjoy everything. You see. And people, you know, when someday feel shame about, like, hey, what is happening about Hlaudi? Hlaudi has this thing. That thing is there. It's not going to go away. Because I was born with this one. So forget about it. I'm not going to change. And when we introduced this content, local content, I said, even if South Africans can change and say, Hlaudi, you have messed up, I will stay alone. I will be happy in my grave and I will protect what I have been doing. I'm not apologetic about what happens at the SABC. I want to say to you that I'm not going to deal with the issues of finances of the SABC because I'm not there. But when I was there, money was there. When I was there, money was there. You see, I want to say to you, if you look, technically I have been out for SABC for more than 2 years. Because I went and come back, I'm there for 2 months, I'm gone. People rush to court. Court said, hey, Hlaudi, you can't be there, man. You need to be clean first. We need to clean you. Go for disciplinary hearing. So I'm waiting for that disciplinary hearing so that maybe they can clean me up again. But what I know is I'm a fighter.
Keep fighting.
What you see is what you get. I'm not apologetic about what is happening. But also, I need to deal with this ad hoc committee. Remember, they said to South Africans, I ran away in Parliament. I was not invited by that ad hoc committee. I went there to accompany my former chairperson, Professor Maguvi.
Yes.
When they work, I work with them because I was not invited. They have written to all people to say, come. Those people went. I don't have any letter. My lawyers, they have already written to ad hoc committee and the Speaker of Parliament. But let me tell you, they can't implement that ad hoc committee on Hlaudi because I was not given a chance. That one, it can be disaster. I'm ready for it. It will never happen. Let them try it. Because even if you have killed someone, you must go there and answer why you killed this one, or deny that I didn't kill him. So why they were afraid to talk to me is because they knew that I was going to tell them the truth. And I was not going to be apologetic on all those decisions that I have taken with the team that I work with. But also, if you look here, there are issues about multi-choice. I need to deal with multi-choice issues. Very interesting. And I'm very proud that I'm part of that contract of multi-choice. Multi-choice has invested a lot of money in the SABC. When SABC we could not pay sports rights, I had to negotiate with multi-choice. Instead of paying 6 million, we will pay 3 million. We have been doing that business with multi-choice. They have been contributing a lot. When it comes to 404 and ENCO, we have employed people. We pay operations of the SABC. The money that we pay operations comes from multi-choice. You know, people who don't know broadcasting, or they know but they ignore it. They are saying all the archives are sitting at multi-choice. The only thing that multi-choice did, after signing this contract, they were building a nice building there. You know, next to them there is another building. They were thinking that we have taken all those archives, put them in that building of multi-choice. In broadcasting, it works like this. There is what we call signal distribution on air. So all the materials, all the archives are sitting there at the SABC. What you see is distribution, linking with multi-choice. Like your SABC 1, 2, and 3. And remember, SABC 1 and 2 and 3 have been there for many, many years. Who said that we sold the archives? What is the difference between 404 and ENCO when they are sitting in that bouquet of multi-choice? And actually, they are not multi-choice channels, they are SABC channels. Because during migration, you need those channels to be on the SABC platform. We said we are putting those channels as pilot projects, so that when we migrate, those channels can come back home. But also, you need funding for these channels. It's not for free. And multi-choice is funding those channels with interest. People who are advertising on those channels, multi-choice, they don't gain a cent. All money comes to the SABC. So what is the problem about people who are making noise? What is their interest? I think the question that we need to ask as South Africans, why these people have so much interest? Why these people want to promote ETV? You know, some of them, even some of the former ministers, they were shareholders in that ETV. Some of them. Why do you want SABC? Because if you are talking about competition, SABC compete with free-to-air, which is ETV, any free-to-air. But when it comes to pay TV, we don't compete with pay TV. But pay TV, we have make sure that they contribute to the SABC. And how do they contribute is that money pays the employees of the SABC, some of them, pays all the operational of the SABC. Remember, we have 24-hour news channel. And all these operations that I'm referring to, whether in the provinces and so on, we use that money for SABC. We don't run 404. You don't have staff that deals with 404 only. You have newsroom as a whole. So you need to understand that there is nothing that SABC has sold the archives. And Krishna Idio was part when we took that decision. But let me tell you, Krishna Idio, yes, disagree with the contract. But the board went and get a senior counsel, not a lawyer now. A senior counsel, someone who can act as a judge. And a senior counsel said, there is nothing wrong about this contract between you and MultiChoice. That opinion is there within the SABC. There are people who are making all this big news these days called the Guptas. And that channel, that SABC, we are funding that channel. We are not, SABC is not funding that channel. And remember, when I'm talking here, I'm not talking as SABC, I'm talking about issues that when I was there, what we did. I'm not representing SABC here, but I was involved in those negotiations. We are not paying any cent for that broadcaster of the Guptas. We are not paying a cent. There is nothing, zero. You have what you call TNA, the one, the newspaper. SABC is not paying a cent. What you pay is normal production. You know, when you go broadcast, you will pay for your people, you will pay for whatever that you pay. They will arrange some of guests, and they will do whatever and do whatever. We are not in that space. But we are not paying a cent. But we need to ask ourselves, what are the implications for South Africa if we chase other people away? Who are working for the Guptas? South Africans. When you chase them away, you are saying, go back to the shacks where you come from. That is what people are saying. Because we need to say, good governance, which I support, but don't go beyond issues that now you want to chase people away, you want to close their factory. Because those factories, they assist South Africans. So we should not allow that as South Africans, so that people chase other people away. Why can't they chase other people away who are not South Africans? Because there are big companies who are not South Africans. And previously at the SABC you have what you call evergreen contract. What it means evergreen, you have only starting date. You don't have ending date. That is where I touch the real depth. Because immediately when I see this evergreen contract, I said, oh, there's a problem here. Let us make sure that now we cut this evergreen contract. But when they do business, they should do business with South Africans, so that South Africans, they can get experience and expertise. That is what we need to do. There is nothing wrong that during my time at the SABC we did. Actually, we did what South Africans are looking for. And when it comes to the policy issue, we went around, we consulted all provinces, and people said to us, we need local content. People said to us, why are you always showing this fight on television, people killing each other? So, when we deal with the issues of the visuals, you remember the 8, those so-called 8 journalists. The so-called journalists, in my view, they haven't won the battle. Not at all. And let me tell you, because people are afraid to talk about these issues. I have minutes here. During the elections, I went and addressed the political team. They were asking many questions and so on. I said, no, I don't care where you belong, which political parties you belong. What I care, you need to give South Africans quality news. That is what I care. I said, look, you need to balance your stories. This is what I said to the journalists at the SABC. You need to balance the stories. You can't go and slash someone, you don't get response from someone. And you can't say time was not on my side. Who's gonna die
if you wait for someone to respond on what other person is saying. That is what I said, balancing, it is very important. And I even said to them in that workshop, I said, look, you can't compare President Zuma, it's not a secret, it's there in the minutes, and other leaders. Because what President Zuma does, it affects all of us, all political parties, it doesn't matter who. I said, separate President Zuma because he's leading the country. He's the state president. You can't compare him with Gwede Mantashe, the SG. You can't compare him with Maimani. That is what I said in those meetings. I said the president needs to be given more time so that he can explain all the decisions and other matters, because he's the president of the country. Those others, if they want time, they should wait for their turn. If they are president, they will get the same time that the other presidents were getting. So, this is what I have been saying. And there was a lady who was acting there, Sophie Mukwena. Sophie Mukwena even invited Matata Zedu in a workshop. Matata went and addressed the political team. I was not there. I came, he was there, but I addressed, and then I asked them, ask any questions. Stupid questions if you think those questions are stupid, or any questions that you think really you need to ask me. They ask me, I respond, they clap hands. There is nothing wrong that we did. But let me tell you, the 8, now I hear, because I signed an affidavit and I hear from the lawyers when I was there, that the judge who was presiding over the 8 journalists, the wife was in charge for that firm where the wife is waiting. So the judge was supposed to declare his interest. Because if it was another judge, it will be a different story. It will be a different story. Because we need to ask ourselves, when we talk about the rights of people, those people who are burning buildings, private or public, do they have the rights more than those people who want to be in the classroom? Do they have the rights more than those who want to be in the classroom? And when you destroy this property, when we are saying South Africa is struggling, unemployment, there is no money, where these people are going to go? Where students are going to go? When you go and ban libraries at the university, where are they going to go? We as South Africans, we should not condemn that. We should not clap hands and be happy. Because we are all South Africans. We need all this property for our own children. So you can't destroy the same property. And you go to court. And at court, if I remember very well, the issue there was labor issues. But people mix the issues and so on. But I'm happy. The Constitutional Court has dismissed the 8. When they went to the Constitutional Court to say that policy of Hlaudi and others, it was not constitutional. The court said, no, no, dismissal. They could not even hear. But newspapers and media, what is happening? They're not talking about those issues. Actually, if it is true that the judge did not declare, he should be reported to the relevant authority. Because which means people won those cases. For me, it was bias. Because I didn't even understand how can people go and toy and make that noise that they were making when they need to protect their own country. We all need to protect this country. And we are not saying journalists should just give, what do they call journalists, good news. I have never said good news. I have been saying report the bad and the good. I have been saying that you can't have when you watch television, you listen to radio, it's all crime, it's all about people killing each other. When there are ordinary citizens and NGOs who are doing very well, we want to see them on television. We want to listen to on radio. We want to create role models in the society. So that is what we want to do. So in my view, we should not run away from the truth. And the more people run after Hlaudi, they don't know Hlaudi, because I was not produced by them. You see, the only difference, I was not produced by people. I was not produced by people. I know myself. So it is very important that people understand. And when they go to war, they should understand what kind of war. Because I represent the majority of South Africans. That is what I represent. And when people have been calling me to go to politics, because I need to deal with this one, I said, no, I can walk. All these South Africans, they'll vote for me. People will be shocked. You see. And I have been addressing all provinces. Not few people, thousands people. Thousands people in different provinces. And other politicians, they can't even address 10 people.
Yeah, sure.
But also, what is more important, in politics in South Africa, watch the debate in Parliament. What are we benefiting in those debates? What are we benefiting in those debates? Those people are not representing the people of South Africa anymore. They represent their own personal interests and their own organizations. That is what they debate, what they are there for. So I'm saying we need to change. Even Parliament should come to the task. Parliament should make sure when they debate, if you personalize and then you attack someone, what is the benefit for ordinary citizens? Nothing, zero. You see, and if I was a politician, I will never allow where you have 10 or 20 political parties. For what? For what? Because actually, we as South Africans, we employ politicians when we are unemployed ourselves. We are unemployed ourselves, we employ politicians. They are employed by citizens. And anyone who doesn't have metric like Hlaudi, they think if I go to Parliament, at least I can get people at least 1 seat or 2 seats. Why do we have someone with 1 seat or 2 seats in Parliament? So we need to change the constitution of South Africa so that parties that are there, they have numbers, they have people behind them, they represent people. We should not create jobs for politicians, which we are doing in this case. Now I have never seen where ANC collude with opposition against Hlaudi. And people have been asking me, Hlaudi, are you an ANC? I'm not going to give you an answer, but I vote. But I vote. I'm not going to give you where I belong, because it is my secret where I belong. And the work that I do, I should be professional and keep what I'm doing. But the issue is, in South Africa, you have many political parties unnecessarily. Those political parties, they need to be reduced. It is a multi, so that money we can invest in ordinary citizens of South Africa. And I have been saying, why do we give people what do you call everything free? You see, we are creating a lazy nation. What we need to do, we need to make sure that we create opportunities for people to run their own business, for people to use their minds and their innovation. That is what you need in South Africa. So, Ernest here and others, those who want Hlaudi to be the minister. Others, they want me to be president. And I said, you know, because I support a woman, because some people are pushing a woman, I won't stand for president because of a woman. Because you can't say you support women, but you contest them. You can't say that. You can't say I support women, but it's you who's contesting the women. I don't want to play in that space. Let's give a woman a chance so that we reflect real South Africa. But also what I need to deal with here, SABC. You know, SABC, you have Broadcasting Act, you also have that commercial part of the SABC, where people are lambasting SABC. Why can't they generate revenue? When you read the Broadcasting Act, it is not commercial 100%, because you still need to fulfill the public mandate in that commercial space, which means you can't compete with multi-choice and others if you talk about commercial. That is what I want to clarify, so that people are aware that really what they are talking about, they don't know what they are talking about. But what we need to do, South Africans, I'm happy that we as South Africans, we know what we want. I'm also assisting artists and other people outside SABC now, because I'm outside. I have secure money for the production houses and artists with other companies. And if I was at the SABC, credit will always go to the SABC, because it has been going to the SABC. But now I'm out. I can't watch when our own people are struggling. So that is what I'm doing now. But I can tell you that my lawyers and myself, we are ready for disciplinary hearing. There's no issue about it. So I'm waiting. I'm going to enjoy myself there in that disciplinary hearing. But also, when you talk about all these contracts that SABC, we have taken a decision. Some of them, yes, I was more part and vocal, but let me tell you, at the SABC example, if you deal with technology, if you are going to build a studio, you need to move with speed. Because if you can't move with speed, it will take 1 year or 2 years, because the tools are not coming from South Africa. You are going to pay triple money. So we changed our corporate plan, and I said, let us change this corporate plan, so that our corporate plan, we are saying we're going to build the studios within a year. Because if we didn't do that, we were still going to pay more money. Because when the dollar and the rands and the euro and so on affects us, you pay triple. So people, they don't know that. So people are complaining about, hey, Hlaudi has built a studio. It is true. The sets are there. But did I take the sets with me? No. They are still at the SABC. And the fraud will be, fraud will be if I have taken a cent. The studios are not there, it will be fraud. But if the studios are there and multi-studio, new studio, the best technology. And I have been saying to the SABC, why do you want to build 10 studios? When you can build 1 studio, multi-studio, you do everything in that studio. I can see some of the colleagues are here, they know I have been saying that in those meetings. I said, no, why 10 studios? Because they become white elephants. Let us build 2 or 3 studios, but we know we are going to use those studios. But because people have been chowing. And the more they delay, the more they get money themselves. So some of us, when we come, we said, no, we stop this. And I'm still saying to you, there is nothing wrong that SABC did. And in SABC, we have very good managers there. But it's just that they don't have this, thing like me. That is the only difference. But you have very good people. And if, I'm not going to talk about whether the new board is going to get rid, because I don't know. I don't know, I can't comment about that issue. But what I know, you can't destroy what is good for South Africans. That is what I know, you can't do that. You may say, no, we don't want Hlaudi. It's fine, but you don't want Hlaudi. Hlaudi is going to lead you in other platforms. I'm going to lead you. You see, you may say you don't need Hlaudi here. It's fine. You will find myself sitting reporting to me. But also what I want to say is that TNA breakfast, it has been assisting people of South Africa to understand what government does. It has been assisting. And actually, now I'm surprised. Even people of the ANC who have been supporting, now they turn against the same thing. When they have been attending the breakfast, they have been there talking about all these issues. But as an individual, and the majority of South Africans, if people touch what is good for South Africa, we are not going to fold our arms. Whether I'm in or I'm out, it is not going to happen. So people should know that. And I want to close by saying that as SABC it should be different from other media. Because it is a public broadcaster.
Yes.
The way they deal with issues respect, even if you don't like the person, even if you don't like the president, you can't use language that is not that we can't accept. And I want to say to Romeo, I know Romeo, young people, they use this language. For me, I don't support insults. We may differ, but we should not insult other people. You see, I don't want where people insult other people. Let us respect each other, but differ vocally so, and use right language. So I think it is very important. You see, for me, I always respect people, even if I differ with them. And actually, I don't want to be loved by people. I need to do the work. You see, I don't want to be loved by the people. I need to do the work that I'm supposed to do. So, and I'm saying to you, when we could not even pay PSL example, I had to negotiate with PSL for trade exchange. When SABC could not afford to pay sports rights. And if you remember, the first interview that I did with Robert Marau after the appointment as the acting COO. There was no Bafana on air. There was no Bafana. SABC were not involved. There were all these soapies from outside. You see what you call austerity. Because SABC introduced austerity, which means if you introduce austerity, you can't invest in black people. You can't invest in your own people. So what we need is people with more innovation, and actually force all these big companies to say, you invest here, you invest in our own people, you invest in local content. But what's wrong if we are going to suffer and we are fighting for the right thing? We should suffer. I'm appealing to all South Africans to say, let us suffer, but that suffer, it will be a short period. After suffering, we'll emerge stronger and stronger and have more money as South Africans. I even said to people, look, you see, I don't understand black people. I'm black, but I don't understand the other black people. How do you complain about white people when they are powerless? When you hold power in your hand? Why do you complain about white people? Why do you complain about, we have all this stumbling block because of white people? There is nothing like that. You see, I work with white people, and I can tell you, white people, if you are clear about your issues, they will go with you. And they will support you. I have been working with good white people who, when I put my issues, we disagree, but at the end they will say, Mr. Motsoeneng, we can see what you are talking about. So let us not blame race and blame whoever. We should not do that. But also, I stand for young people. I stand for young people when they apply for the jobs, you can't ask them experience. Because you should give them experience yourself. No one was born with experience. In my journey at the SABC, I came with the issue about the cleaners. You know, people who are cleaning that SABC and the security.
Yeah.
Because they were toy-toying. I said, you know, black people, I don't understand why you toy-toy. Who are you toy-toying? Against us? They said, yes. I said, but remember, why can't you open your own company? A cleaning company and form a corporate? So that you are shareholders, you own that company yourselves, rather than to work with other people and complain about them. The same with security. That is what I have been saying it should happen at the SABC. I don't know whether it is going to happen or not because I'm not there. But reality is, transformation, we can't apologize. We must implement transformation, come whatever. If it costs us our lives, we must do that. You see, that is what we are going to do. And I started this radical transformation. You know, I started that thing. And I have seen that people have joined me. But also, you know, in South Africa, we need to pay living wage for all South Africans. We need to create jobs. You see, that one is very critical for me. If we create jobs, rather than give people RDP houses for free, and then grants for free, because we are producing a nation that is lazy, a nation that can't think about themselves. So, one part is, if you talk to other leaders, they are always in London, China. When you ask them, why are you around the world? They are saying, no, we are going to benchmark with other countries. Here's the issue that I want to ask. When these countries are going to come to South Africa and use South Africa as a benchmark? Because we need to create a nation where these other countries, they will come and use South Africa as their own benchmark. But when it comes to local content, especially in broadcasting, I can tell you, I have met 3 countries. They have used SABC as their benchmark after 90%. So, all people who are reading media, don't listen to them. Yes. Because they push their own propaganda. They have their own people who are feeding them wrong information. So listen to us when we talk to you. An ordinary citizen of South Africa. So that is what I want to say to you. But I'm stronger than before, than yesterday. Actually, I'm ready to take the nation forward. And I want to say that to all media, because I come from this space. You see, your president, you must respect your president. Whether you like him or you don't like him. And all citizens, they must respect him. You see, if you can remove someone, hey, we are going to remove everyone each and every day. Today we are not happy. Motsoeneng has done this. No, he's not a good president. Move. Tomorrow, we should not allow that to happen. It's anarchy. Leave the man to serve his term. And then let us see who's going to come and whether that person is going to serve people of South Africa. But also, I'm not President Zuma's spokesperson or I'm not his person. No, I'm not. But reality, we need to talk in South Africa. When you go around the world, they respect their own presidents. Even if they don't like them. Even their own opposition, they respect their own president. In South Africa, what kind of nation are we building here? What kind of nation? And you also take someone who said, you put them in a board. Someone said, no, this one is running South Africa like a banana republic. You, my daughter. How can you do that? You see, in my view, SABC board should not be appointed by politicians.
Yeah.
It should be appointed by ordinary citizens. And SABC board should be chaired by a retired judge.
Yes.
That is what we need to do, because each and every, all these other board members, they go there and serve their own interest. But the worst part, you know why there's crisis at the SABC? Most of them, they don't work.
Yes.
When they don't work, they also taking the chocolate cake. Why do you take people who are unemployed? You put them as board members. Why can't you put people who are committed, who run their own business? They don't have time for gossip. They have time to make sure that SABC run professionally and profit is there. But I want to thank the former chairperson of the board and that board that I serve under, Dr. Ngubane. I want to thank Ellen Shabalala, the interim during the board, because he chairs the both. Actually, I served 5 boards. And because I'm not the yes man, they know me. What you see is what you get even in a meeting. If I disagree, I disagree. But I put my points. And most of them, if you can check all this decisions of the SABC, I influence those decisions. They vote with me. But now they went to Parliament and said, no, Hlaudi, go and read the minutes. You will see all of them, they were there, all of them supported it. Even maybe few of them, but you see, if the majority has taken decision, you are part, even if you don't like such decisions. But if ad hoc committee went there and called people who are disgruntled, who are not even working for SABC, and ignore someone who's still working at the SABC. Remember, they call everyone. And when they were asked, they said, no, he's not an employee of the SABC. I don't know how they read English. They said, no, he's not an employee of the SABC. Okay, let's say I'm not an employee, but why do you go and take other people who are not employee of the SABC?
There's no consistency.
And you ask them to come and cook stories. But I'm waiting for them, those people. And most of them, I employ them at the SABC.
Yes.
Those who were talking there. So I employ most of them as directors, because we employ executive, we employ them. But other issues is the agency, security agency of government, they have done well to advise us what to do, what not to do when people come there. And then you media, you are saying people who have been tapped by Hlaudi. I need proof that there is someone that I was listening. That, hey, what this person is saying. Give me evidence. And I can tell you today, no one was tapped at the SABC when I was there. Why do you want to tap people? You want to listen to their secrets when they talk to their girlfriend and their wives and their children. Why do you tap people? Because people have freedom of speech. Whether they differ with you, they don't like you, you can't tap them. But I can tell you, we need to transform RS here. There's a radio station called RS here. That radio stations need to be transformed as a matter of urgency, because they are sitting in an island. And I touch that radio station. Unfortunately, I'm not there. But I hope other people will do the same thing and touch that radio station. And actually, music should be played across all platforms. We should not have where Ukhozi FM plays isiZulu, Sesotho play. No, let's spread across music. But we are not saying, we are saying that the bulk of music because you still need to keep your culture and tradition. It should be done by that station, but rotate other music in different, including RSG. But I'm very happy. Maybe they want to ask me questions. You know, I have been talking. But you can ask me any questions that you think you want to ask me. I will respond unapologetic. And friends of Hlaudi, thank you very much for coming. And I know friends of Hlaudi, those are South Africans, and majority of them. But let me tell you one story. You know white people like Hlaudi. I'm telling you, I meet so many white people. Sometimes someone rushed to me, white person at the garage. I was at the garage. I was saying, hey man, what is this man? I said, hey Mr. Hlaudi, you know, we support what you do. We are with you. You see. And even at the SABC, I said, SABC is too black. And I was right. Because I was saying, you can't employ only black people, because when you do that, you are also doing the same what apartheid have been doing. And I said, young people who are coming from tertiary as white, they need to be employed at the SABC. So, you see, we need fairness in South Africa. And not all white people are bad. Not all of them. It's like black people, not all of them are bad. You see. But have you seen that English can't define you? And English can't make you a better person. Because when you play with English, you tempt people, you think you have arrived. You can only arrive when we see the value, the outcome of your work. And thank you very much.
Comrades, friends and forces, you see, Hlaudi Motsoeneng is my hero. And at times, I know order. And that's why I can order. Ad hoc committee, I will never allow that. There must be order, including Tafulenye. I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm going to call people to order. Whether you are my force or not, I'll call you to order. We are going to take sets of questions. There'll be a roaming mic. And as we get 5 questions, and if there are other 5 questions.
You can't destroy what is good for South Africa, and you can't apologize for transformation. This is what the former SABC Chief Operations Officer Hlaudi Motsoeneng had to say during his press briefing after we heard from musician legends in the country. Hlaudi Motsoeneng touching on a number of issues, including the SABCH, the SABC board, as well as the 90% local content on South African radio rule that was passed under him. He started by saying that everywhere he goes, he's asked about allegations and specific rumors that are going around the country about him. Also stating that what you see with regards to Hlaudi Motsoeneng is what you get. He's not apologetic about the decisions that he had taken while he was at the SABC, stating that he feels it is what the country needed and it's what needed to be done at the time. Also touched on the disciplinary hearings that he is set to go through, stating that he has experienced and gone through one, and he walked away from that, saying that he will be walking away from the second as well, as he has done nothing wrong, and stating that he is excited to hear what people has to say with regards to what exactly he's done wrong. Also stating that he has a good team around him, but with regards to the local content and the issues around that, Hlaudi Motsoeneng touching on allegations of viewership at the SABC decreasing. He's asking questions as to how much and who did that research to prove that the SABC viewership has decreased because of that 90% local music content rule on SABC radio. Also saying that when he had a look at the numbers, it was 1% or 2%, and stating that that can't be enough reason to put that the 90% rule has affected the viewership. Also talking about the quality of music that has been put on air, and that better quality music needs to be put on air, saying that South Africans are people with amazing talent, and that we need to promote our South African talent and not international music and international artists. Also touching on the Broadcasting Act, the role of the SABC is to promote local content, and we need to engage with South African story writers, says the former SABC COO Hlaudi Motsoeneng. We need to get South Africans writing stories, and those stories to be told on South African platforms. Also interesting, he did note and did say that the 90% local content rule is not only for black South Africans, that white South Africans are included in that as well. And also touched on issues of where the royalties go and why South African artists are dying poor when they've made so much money throughout their music career. This was the former SABC chief, Hlaudi Motsoeneng, who had quite a lengthy briefing that just concluded a few minutes ago. The question and answer session is currently taking place, but Hlaudi Motsoeneng came out guns blazing to defend his policy of 90% local content on SABC television as well as radio. He said it was the SABC's role to promote local content, as that creates employment for local artists. He also took on the current SABC board, saying some black people have been captured and opposing transformation. But let's go live now to the question and answer session, where Hlaudi Motsoeneng has said that the media can ask him any question and he will answer.
Actually on the verge of losing or have lost their jobs, and the broadcasting or the SABC is really in a bad space, which I feel that we need more answers, particularly from you, sir, about the finances of the SABC.
Thank you. You said what's your name?
Diaboseto, Dad.
Diaboseto, my brother.
Thank you very much to Mr. Motsoeneng, and thank you everyone who come here. My name is Junior Mabasa. I'm from Limpopo, Guyana. I'm a Tsonga guy. Yes. What I want to say to Mr. Motsoeneng, I just want to thank, because he said, sorry, I born in Guyana, we are Tsonga. So these things for impressing with English, yeah, it's not our things. Yes, yes. I can also talk my language as well. Yes, as today we are promoting 90% local content. Yes, so I just want to cover everyone so then you can hear, we can have the communication as well. What I want to try to say, at our TV industrial, we don't have a Tsonga drama. Why is not there? That's my question. And then two, last time they were busy trying to